Brokers, from one broker to another, detention needs to be paid. Do not avoid carriers when they're due detention. In this video, I'm going to cover three different things. Number one, broker's responsibility when it comes to detention. Number two, the only two valid exceptions to detention pay. And number three, in my opinion, what the detention rate should be and after how long. Carriers, why are you or your dispatchers accepting loads without first discussing the detention policies on the load? I'm stunned by how often this happens. I mean, it's literally rare that a dispatcher or a driver will ask about the detention policy when asking about the load. So you have all these other details. You'll ask about the commodity, distance, the weight, the rate, but detention is not discussed and agreed upon when you're inquiring. And this needs to change. If this is you, you have to change this. And if it's your dispatcher, talk to him or her and tell them, I want in writing on the rate con what the amount will be and when it starts in black and white. It takes no time at all because you as the driver, you're the ones who are actually going to be sitting there and waiting. So make sure that your dispatcher goes through those details before accepting any load. Back to brokers. So I personally have worked with shippers and receivers that do not pay detention. And they are crappy customers. Cut them loose. Your time is better spent with another customer growing your book of business in a better way. They will only ruin your reputation and they're going to ruin your relationship with your carriers. They don't value a carrier's time, so I don't know why you think that they're going to value your time. Now that's going to be a completely different video that I have coming out. It's going to release soon, so make sure you subscribe so they don't miss it. It's going to be identifying good customers versus bad customers. But today, I want you to remember that the person on the other side of the phone is a real person. And I think it's really easy for brokers and drivers and dispatchers to all see the other party, in this case, drivers and dispatchers together, and then brokerages, but to all see the other party as a concept instead of as real people. And that's a mistake. We have to start treating each other like real people and not concepts. Now I want to talk about the broker's responsibility regardless of the shipper's actions. Okay, what is the broker's responsibility here for detention? So if you, talking to brokers here, ask your customer for detention for your carrier and the customer says no, guess what? You still need to pay it. I don't know where this came from, where it's like, oh, well, the customer denied it. We're not getting paid. Sorry. What is that? Of course not. We are the customer to the carrier. And thus, we need to pay them regardless of what our customer does. They don't care if our customer pays us. It's just like if the customer doesn't pay us for a load, are we going to not pay the carrier for it? Of course not. We have to. We have to pay the carrier every single time. So I don't know where this comes from when it comes to detention. There's right, there's wrong. Always have it in black and white on the rate con, but it needs to get paid to the carriers. And a customer not paying it is no excuse for a broker not to pay it to a carrier. So there are two exceptions, which I'm going to talk about right now, but I don't want anybody to take these two exceptions and pretend like this isn't a real issue. So here are the exceptions. Number one, if it was an appointment and the driver missed the appointment, well, then there's not going to be any detention on it. Number two, the broker made it clear that the shipper did not pay detention and they asked you to consider that into the rate before accepting the load. Is that fair? Is number two fair? I mean, technically, I would say it's fair. Yeah. But I don't like it. And I don't work with customers that do that. I don't like it. And I don't think it's a good way to operate, which again is something that I talk about in another video. But customers that operate that way are just not worth the trouble. So what do I think the detention policy should be? I think detention policy should be $50 an hour after 2 hours free. And that's pretty typical. That's already the industry standard. So I'm going to be honest with you guys here. I think that shippers should have to pay detention after 2 hours free. Or maybe it's 3 hours, maybe it's 1 hour, I don't know, but some kind of agreement needs to come and everybody needs to be on the same page that, hey, if a carrier's there, this is what it has to be. I mean, this sounds like a regulation, right? I don't want to use that word. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know, but it has to get there somehow. And carriers, I mean, one thing that you could do is just not take the freight, of course, right? But the problem is that you don't always ask for the detention policy before you take the freight. And so I don't know. And then another thing is you get in these really bad areas and it's the only load going out. And last time you took it, it only took 2 hours to get loaded. And you think, okay, it's going to take 2 hours. And then this time you're sitting there for 8 hours. And that kind of sucks. That's not fair either. So I really do wish there was something that was enforced upon shippers to make them pay detention after 2 hours of waiting. That's my opinion. So brokers, adopt this detention policy. Carriers, make sure it's on the rate con. Okay, everything needs to be in black and white. Customers who do not pay detention, please respect the carrier's time. Change that policy. Pay your carriers. And brokers who avoid detention calls from carriers, you suck. All right, guys. So brokers and carriers, I want to hear from each of you. Carriers, what is the worst experience that you've ever had at a shipper because of a broker? And brokers, what do you think is fair? Do you think my 2 hours free, $50 an hour detention policy is fair? Or do you guys have something else in mind? Let me know. Goodbye.